Greetings, children of the screen, your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here once again. And Batman number 50, the wedding issue of Batman, so to speak, just came out. And as promised, this is my video talking about my thoughts on Tom King's run of Batman thus far. Now, I'm going to kind of just talk about it moving through the majority. I'm not going to talk about every story he did in depth, but I'm just going to kind of go through it chronologically. And then at the end, we'll talk about this issue. So, first off, I want to say that when Tom King's run on Batman first started off, I didn't hate it. In fact, I actually quite liked it. In truth, a lot of the things he was doing, I had already been desensitized to. Through, like, Grant Morrison's run on Batman, which had some ups, which I really enjoyed, and some downs, which I really, really did not enjoy. But, like, in his run, he really solidified the idea of the God Bat. The Batman who can do anything. Like the memes say, you know, Batman plus prep time can beat anyone. That kind of like really came full-fledged, embodied in Grant Morrison's run of Batman. And then like with Scott Snyder's run of Batman, there were elements in there of making him more human and more modern and a little bit more grounded while still keeping like the grandiose nature of him. And when Tom King started his run, he said that a lot of what he wanted to do was kind of find a way to make Bruce Wayne more relatable and more human and like more of a guy. And I was like, that's cool, I dig that. But at the same time, he was still utilizing kind of those same elements of Morrison and Snyder. So the first arc, I Am Gotham, I didn't have a problem with. I actually really enjoyed the first issue. I know a lot of people had a problem with the jetpacks, that he just like, little jets that he just pulls out from under the ejector seat of the Batmobile or whatever. I didn't really have a problem with that, because not only is he a rich dude who has like Wayne tech, but he also has alien technology at his, you know, disposal. Now, true, if he has things that small, then why doesn't he just like build him a suit where he can fly all the time, like Batman Beyond? Or why, like even Batman Beyond, why can't he fly better than he already can if Bruce has access to these things? But again, if you go back and you read Grant Morrison's run, there are tons of things introduced in that run that like are just like that, where it's like, well, then he would use that all the time, but he doesn't because it's comic book, so that wasn't a problem for me. Gotham and Gotham Girl, I didn't necessarily have a problem with them either, and I actually, in that first arc, liked the way that they were used. I liked the idea that, like, they could be super for a few years, or they could be god-level powered for a few minutes. Like, that's a cool concept. I don't necessarily think it was utilized to its fullest potential, but it's a cool concept, and I enjoyed it. So next from that, we move on to the I Am Suicide, where basically Psycho Pirate has been taken by Bane, and Bane is using him to, like, make himself not need the Venom anymore, but, like, Batman needs Psycho Pirate and the masks to, like, help Gotham Girl, who's now insane after killing her brother. And again, we have so many of the God Bat moments in that story, and you also have, like, Batman putting together his own Suicide Squad, and it's this extremely convoluted plan that like relies on everything going right. So again, you have that whole God Bat element, just everything. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of the pieces in that story actually aren't even necessary. They're just kind of there because there needs to be a story of a certain length. And then you also have like that whole, again, the God Bat thing desensitizes you as a Batman fan to a lot of things. So like the whole idea that like after having his back broken, Bruce Wayne trained his body to like not break, but to separate and to like give the appearance of a broken back. It's like, that's ridiculous comic book bullshittery, but I'm kind of used to it in Batman, and it's just like, that's badass. He goes into the cell and like hangs upside down and realigns his back, and I'm like, that is still more believable than what happens in the fucking Dark Knight Rises. So I'll go with it, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, like again, like that story had a lot of problems, but overall I still enjoyed it. And then like with the I Am Bane, I really dug I Am Bane. I thought that that was a legitimately cool frickin' story. Like there's again, every Tom King thing has a few little elements that just are weird or like don't seem like they belong or like they're emphasized on too much. But a lot of that is forgivable because like in truth, that's almost every comic book I've ever read, man. But like when I first read the I Am Bane, like I really liked it, and I was like, I get the feeling that with this story, I Am Bane, like a lot of the good Tom King Batman stories, like in another 5 or 10 years out of continuity, if you just were to pick the story up and read it as its own thing, like in the trade edition, I think you would probably get a lot more out of it than reading it now as it is in the standard continuity. But in that issue, like the redefining of like Batman's mission, like trying to make it something, Tom King's also been trying to do this thing weirdly while he's making Batman more human and flawed. He's also trying to work the symbol of Batman back up to be like a symbol of hope. And like they kind of really embed the roots of that in the I Am Bane story, and I really dug that. However, it's not really ever followed up on in a way that's fulfilling, and in fact, like, not long after I Am Bane, we get the War of Jokes and Riddles. And in the War of Jokes and Riddles, we find out that, like, man, the War of Jokes and Riddles. Give me a second here. Dude. Okay, let's do this. Okay, the War of Jokes and Riddles, guys. The War of Jokes and Riddles is an awesome concept. There's no arguing it. It's an awesome concept. Within the story, there are a lot of really cool things that happen. I am among the few people who actually really liked the Kite Man stuff. Because, like, I love old school, wacky villains like that, and I've always kind of thought Kite Man was fun, but really stupid. And, like, this was kind of the perfect balance for me personally of, like, stupid and fun and kind of weird, dark stuff. Like, I really enjoyed that element of it. However, like, it took place over so many issues, and so much happened in that story, but the problem is, we're not seeing it in the book. We're being told about it by other people. And then, like, Batman sits down to have a meal with the Joker and the Riddler as Bruce Wayne, when, like, the whole city of Gotham's been burning all around him, and he's been, like, one step behind. And, like, there are ways in this situation, when you have all the key players in one place, there are ways other than outing yourself as Batman to take care of them. So, that scene is unforgivable. Unforgivable. Again, a lot of War of Jokes and Riddles had really cool, fun artwork in it. But again, like, there are so many cool ideas in that book. Like, I'm not going to argue that. There are so many cool ideas and cool things that happen, but, like, either they don't come together, or, like, it's a cool idea, but, like, we're seeing it from the wrong angle, or, like, you're telling us about it instead of actually showing it to us. But here's the biggest problem with it. It's the end of the fucking book. The end of the book. Dude. Okay. At the end of the War of Jokes and Riddles, after everything, Batman makes the choice to murder the Riddler. He makes it as a choice. It even says in the book he wasn't acting emotionally. It wasn't that he wasn't thinking clearly. It wasn't that he was overcome with rage. He made a conscious, calculated decision to murder the Riddler by stabbing him in the face. And the only reason that he ends up not doing it is because Joker saves him by sticking his hand out and getting stabbed through the hand. Now, let me say for a second that if Tom King was writing this story out of continuity in its own universe as like an Elseworld story or something like that, I would think that is absolutely badass. I would. It's a cool moment, that is for sure. The problem is, it's in the main continuity. It is our Batman. It's everyone's Batman. And you just completely corrupted the foundation of the character by making him not a murderer through an act of, like, happenstance. The Joker just thought it would be funny enough to keep Batman from killing him to do it. Like, that's the only reason Batman is on any level a moral character. So that means that, because this, again, is supposed to take place, like, in the second year of Batman, something like that, because it's a flashback story, that means that, like, here, I'm fine with a Batman who can't live up to his own moral code sometimes. There's a lot of moral failings in Batman that I could allow and that I could accept without feeling that that corrupted the foundation of that character's whole moral center. But having Batman consciously make a choice to murder someone and act on it is unforgivable. Like, anytime Batman has been trying to tell people not to kill after that, it means he's a complete and total hypocrite. Like, there's no saving that moment in the normal continuity, and it's part of the continuity now. So that's now until they do like another Crisis or something to wipe that out or retcon it somehow. That happened. Every time we've ever seen Batman like telling someone the whole Under the Red Hood story where he's trying to convince Red Hood not to kill people is just complete and total bullshit now. Because of this one moment, which is objectively a cool moment, except it breaks the character. Like, completely. You know? Like, he might as well have just had Batman pick up a gun and pull the trigger and have it jam or something, and that's the only reason he didn't kill someone with a gun. Okay? Like, it's bullshit. Jesus, the war of jokes and riddles, man. Anyway, moving on. I jumped into the war of jokes and riddles, but we have to remember that the framing device for the war of jokes and riddles was really like preluded by the whole rooftop story of like Batman chasing Catwoman and them banging on the rooftops like on top of diamonds or something like that, and like going through the two like contradicting ways of how they met. It was utterly boring and bullshit, and then like he proposed and all that stuff, and like, so here's the deal, guys, as we move into this part of the thing. When it was announced that Batman was going to be marrying Catwoman, I rejected it. I was like, nope, just the idea of Batman being married and being happy and all that kind of stuff, like, I rejected it. And I still kind of do. Because that's the thing, is like, we will always go back to the status quo. So the only reason why you would make him happy for a time is to take it all away from him, or to have him be, to take it away from him. To have him being happy make him less of Batman. They're not going to retire Bruce Wayne and have him go live happily ever after and have someone else step up. Even if they do, it'll be for like, what, 3 months? How long was Jim Gordon Batman? I don't even fucking remember. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a whole thing, you know? But anyway, so yeah, I wasn't really down with the marriage, and I'll be honest with that, like, even, like, Rooftops was kind of where I was feeling like maybe I was done with Tom King's Batman. War of Jokes and Riddles really solidified that, and for a while I did actually drop the book. And then we got the Super Friends issues, where it's like Batman and Catwoman are getting married, and it's like Batman and Catwoman and Clark and Lois talking about each other, and like that is so freaking awesome. Like, that issue is so awesome. I was back in. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna see where this goes. And ever since I jumped back in, I have not felt it. Like, there's been a couple of cool things here and there, but I have not felt it. And the moment I knew for sure I was jumping off this book for good was in the damn Booster Gold story.